The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Boyd's ATA Black Belt Academy in Marrero, Louisiana. Barreto Home Solutions. Bayou Audio and Video. Hot Works on the North Shore. JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington. Lil Dizzy's Cafe. Kuman of Gretna. Kaylin Parker of Magnolia Wealth Strategies. Moe's Pizza. Buck's Snow Whiz. CC's Children Blocks. The Pierre Family in Lafayette, Louisiana. Leo Auto Glass. The Juber Family in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Dat Kitchen Restaurant in Chalmette, Louisiana.
Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Move, move, move. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
And nobody hears me, so let me start over. Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy. We got a good one for y'all tonight. We are finished with week 1 of high school football here in Louisiana. We're going to do some recaps, and we're going to talk about some week 2 games that's going to happen. And, we're going to let y'all know who won the picks for week 1. We're gonna let y'all know that later on in the show. But I got my partners in crime. We got George Peppers and VK. What's up, VK?
What's going on, man? Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show, all social media platforms. Thank God you pressed the button on the mic, man, because
It happens.
it
What's up,
happens,
Izzy?
you know. But like, tag, share, subscribe on all social media platforms on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. On the game nights, we're on JB the Sports Guy on the YouTube for our games of the week. So be sure you tune in, continue to support us. We definitely appreciate it. And let's get on with it. We about to get ready for week number 2.
That's right. A bunch of the St. James Wildcats right now are watching right now on Instagram. I see them, and we're gonna have their game this Friday night when they travel to Edgar for the Railroad Classic to take on the West St. John Rams. But we got my boy George Peppers. What's up, GP?
What's up, JBVK? It's Tuesday night. It's recap night. We get to talk about, like you said, we get to talk. Geez, I knew that was coming. I told you, Jared, in the chat. Look at the comment. I knew that was coming. So, anyway, funny story to share with you guys in the chat. Saturday, we were at Tag Gauntlet, and I was doing my usual stat preparation, with rosters and, starters and all that. And I said, let me do the picks since I had a few minutes. And I slipped the paper to Jared, and he looked. He quite work out, and so whatever. But it is what it is. But look, it was an interesting set in week 1. Very interesting results. Some eye openers, really, to be honest. And there's one game you didn't put on that list that we're going to discuss, and I really want to get to. I don't think you had it on the list because that was a blowout that I don't think anybody saw coming, but it happened. Ruston at Acadiana.
Okay, well,
That finished
Acadiana and who? Oh,
49 to
Western
3.
Acadiana. Okay, well, I'll put it back on there. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I
Yeah, I
got you,
got you.
dude.
I got you. We got it. We got it. All right. All right. I
You were
got you.
waiting for me
Just
to say
remind me.
Evidence Chalmette,
All right,
huh?
guys. No, it was not. Trust me.
I
That
know,
was
I'm
not what you
kidding. But
said.
anyway,
So, yeah, JT, you sharing first place on your show Under the Lights that y'all can catch Wednesdays at 8:30, right when we finish. Um, let's start it off. Week 1, the Catholic League was dominant. Not
hmm
one team in the Catholic League lost at all. They all won. So out of all of those teams, George Peppers, I'll start with you. What was the most surprising victory?
Not knowing much about the Dallas Jesuit team that the Blue Jays of Louisiana beat, so I'm not going to go. I don't want to discredit that at all. St. Augustine, I thought was expected to win comfortably against
Hold on one
McDonald
second.
35.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Oh no,
Because Instagram popping right now. So, CJ, thank you, man. We appreciate it. Um, Izzy, I just gave y'all a shout out, partner. I just gave y'all a shout out. We streaming y'all game Friday night against West St. John. So y'all got that. They beat them East St. John Wildcats. So give them shout outs to St. James. Um, big hit, big hit. Big hitter Kyles. They talk about us on the air. Yeah, it's all good. St. James, we're gonna talk about y'all. We got you, because we gotta do y'all game. So we're gonna talk about y'all. Definitely. All right, George. Instagram
back
was
on
popping.
point.
I had to
I
go here.
feel. Hey,
What's up,
listen, I
Jackson
feel
Fields? What's that, baby? That's my hand. Go
that's the
ahead.
hand with a very gutty effort by them. Anyway, good effort by those guys Friday night on the road against Baton Rouge Catholic, who's one of the favorites. So great effort, Jackson, and y'all going to be fine the rest of the way. But as far as the
Yep.
Catholic League, you mentioned a lot of teams looked impressive. St. Augustine, like I said, looked impressive. I thought they could. I didn't think they'd win by 50, but I thought they would win comfortably. I thought McDonald 35 had a lot to answer and really would have had to do a lot. Um,
What's the most
Jesuit, I mean,
victory, man? You what out of all the league, which
I'm
was
going
a
with it. I'm going with it. I'm going to give you the answer right now. And that's the team that went to E.D. White and scored late to get the win, Holy Cross, 27-26. It wasn't that they weren't without a chance. Scott Watney is a damn good football coach, and they were going to always compete in that game. VK and I had E.D. White on the picks last week, thinking, being at
what's up, Jay?
home, that they
I
were going to
see you.
prevail. They were going to
Mm-hmm.
prevail and get it. But you know what? The Holy Cross hung in. They hung in, and that's what you do on the road. You stay in the game into the fourth quarter, and you make a move. And they made theirs late, and they got the win. So my answer, VK, is Holy Cross over ED White was the most surprising result of week 1.
All right, all you St. James players that's watching, y'all go tell all your family, your friends, to everybody that we are streaming your game Friday night against West St. John. Tell them all. If they can't make it, tell them all to tune in to JB the Sports Guy YouTube page and catch that game at 6:45 for the pregame, 7 for game time. All my St. James players that's watching. VK, what was the most surprising victory out of all the Catholic League schools?
I'm hoping some of them St. James players was in class while I was doing the interview with Levanta Davis earlier. But at the same time, man,
Oh,
it's good to
wow.
have the Wildcats in the house watching this show. My surprising and remember, JB, only one loss for the Cat League. Remember, Rummel lost to Lafayette Christian.
That's right. Roma did lose. That's right. You are correct. My fault.
It's okay.
Yep.
Looking at it, my surprise, you know what I'm saying, George, that's a good one. I really thought the surprise result, was the Brother Martin win. I mean, Brother Martin winning at East Ascension. I mean, the way the game went, and I had a feeling the game was going to be really close, and Brother Martin was going to pull it out. But East Ascension really brought the fight to the doorstep. They brought the fight to the doorstep. They had a lead throughout the game, but what a comeback by Brother Martin and to gut it out. I actually had a little chat with Mark Bonice, and hopefully we'll have him on next week and everything. But Bonice was very, very impressed and proud of his club, how they bounced back, because they did make some mistakes in the ball game, but they just kept working and working their way, especially to the fourth quarter, and got that job done. You know what I'm saying? Eastern Royal, he's something, bro. He's really, really something. He carried that team on his back to get the victory at East
What's up,
Ascension.
Coach Christopher?
But I tell you one thing: the Cat League is really good, but East Ascension, has showed that district there is gonna be wild.
Mhm.
But I really think that Brother Martin win was a surprise one because of how close the game is and how they came back.
All right, Izzy, let me answer your question. We cannot give a prediction of the score between you and West St. John because we are broadcasting and calling that game. It wouldn't be fair for one of us to go in there and say this team gonna beat this team by this much. It would not be fair. So we cannot give a prediction. We are broadcasting the game. So we're gonna stay neutral, right down the middle, keep it fair. My turn. Um, I'm with you, VK. It's Brother Martin because I thought they would win, but being down double digits to an East Ascension team, then I was like, oh, they might be in trouble. But I told you still on the sidelines, I think they still gonna come back and win that game. And
And I wasn't surprised at that at that either because I said they could come back, but I was just surprised at it because at the same time we was thinking if East Central hold on, I'm like, regardless if we took the L on the pick, it's like still I think they've been really really good because of what Brock Mathern is doing. But I believe you.
some things never change on
I'm sorry.
George Peppers. Some things never change on George Peppers.
Few years, same old interruption. I
Same,
got
same
you.
old interruption. People can't finish a sentence, bro. Not even a
I'm
sentence.
sorry, sir.
Yeah, I know you sorry.
Mhm.
No, but back to what I was saying. As I mentioned with VK a little bit, but the way they came back, the way they fought back, and to face adversity, even with a new starting quarterback, that said a lot about that team, man. And that to me was the most surprising victory of all the Cali League schools that won besides Romo losing. But that was the one right there. Me and VK on the same page with Brother Martin. Let's go to another Cali League school, the Edna Carr Cougars. I'm gonna go first. Edna Carr Cougars defeated Archbishop Shaw 35-0. And I'm seeing publications saying they dominated Shaw, this and that, this and that. But if you didn't see my video on the YouTube page and everything, then of course you're gonna go by the score and think they Shaw got dominated. But if you look at my video of the game on the YouTube page, you're gonna see this. Two things you're gonna see. Yes, Edna Carr's defense dominated Shaw's offense. Yes, they did. But Shaw's defense played exceptionally well. They played well. Don't let that 35-0 score fool y'all. Because if your offense can't get a first down, and they really didn't, except for a fake punt and maybe 3 penalties by Carr. If your offense can't get a first down, then your defense is on the field the entire game. The passing game was pretty much neutralized. John Johnson really didn't have the type of game he wanted passing. He did get one touchdown that was really covered well defensively, but the defensive back overran, and that's how the catch was made. Other than that, John Johnson maybe had 80 to 90 yards passing. That Shaw defense played well, but they was on the field a lot, and they started cramping up a lot. Shaw defense is what held them together that whole first half. 0-0 first quarter, 14-0 in the second quarter, but they were on the field the whole time. So don't let that score dictate that, Shaw got dominated. No. Offense couldn't move the ball, so you can say defensively, Carr's defense dominated. I'm good with that. Other way around, Shaw defense played exceptionally well. Coach John Johnson, the OC, said the exact same thing after the game, that they are so athletic defensively, man. They gave us some fits, and they played well. And it's the truth, VK.
I agree. I definitely agree. Me and you was out there, and I tell you, man, I was
George
very
was there
impressed.
too.
Yeah, George was there too.
No, I wasn't. For Sean Carr? I
Yeah.
wasn't there. No,
Oh,
I
my
wasn't.
bad. Oh, my bad. Dang, you're right, VK. I'm tripping.
Time and a half got me kept. So,
That's right. Okay.
all right.
But I agree with you, Jared, because of the fact I even said it after the game. I was very, very impressed of how Shaw really competed in the game, and me and George kind of talked about it a little bit on Saturday, and I told him, I said, this year was how Shaw played was much better than last year, even though it was bad conditions and everything else last year. Comparing to this year with good conditions and Shaw losing everybody offensively. It's for the fact that Shaw's defense put Shaw in position to try to come back in the game. And it was only down 14-0 at the half.
That's it.
So it was just the fact the Shaw defense is really, really gonna carry things for the Eagles, and it shows. Offensively, you see some bright spots, but still kind of struggling moving the ball. And talking with one of the offensive coaches, Mike Biamonte, and he said it himself. VK, give it to about week 4 or 5, and the offense I think is going to start clicking. So I really believe that myself too. But credit Archbishop Shaw, period, for really, really competing, making Edna Carr earning lunch last Friday, and even Bryce Brown was impressive,
Oh yeah,
impressed of Shaw's performance, and knowing like not he was not disappointed in his own team at all. He just felt like he just knew that Hank Ten is going to have his team prepared and ready, and that's what happened.
George, your thoughts about Carr and Archbishop
Well,
Shaw?
as VK mentioned, we had this conversation on the way to Gormley Saturday in advance of us doing the St. Augustine's McDonald 35 game. So I asked VK because I wasn't there Friday night. So I asked him, I picked his brain. I said, dude, what was it? I mean, tell me, give me a little synopsis. And he told me, he said, George, look, Shaw played their eye sockets out defensively in that game. And he mentioned it was a scoreless first quarter and 14 zip at the half. He mentioned that. He said, when you're on the defense that long against that kind of offense against Carr, you're going to tire out. And it's early September. It's still humid and it's cramps. So, but look, Shaw this week, on paper, it's a get right game against West Jeff, right? So you
On
think
paper,
this
yeah,
will be the first? I think this game coming up against West Jeff is going to be an idea of, okay, how much progress will the offense make? It's a West Jeff team that got absolutely pasted running out at Franklin Parish, right? And
yeah.
it's a team that has had myriads of struggles, and they just don't really have any creativity and identity offensively. What does Shaw do offensively Friday night is something I'll see. But going back to the novices that say, "Oh, look, Carr dominated that game. They won 30 nothing. They beat the brakes off of Shaw." Scoreline says yes. The eye test says no. What does that mean for Edna Carr this Friday? A little luster taken off of that matchup because American Heritage got beat. So that game Friday in the Dome, from the Florida side of things, there's a little less shine on it. And the Carr, y'all got to up y'all game to beat those people. They're still a very good football team. Y'all got to up y'all game Friday night. There's some big boys and they can run. When you play teams that are sized, it's tough. But when they run fast too, it's gonna be even tougher. But we'll see.
Definitely. TC, we're gonna talk about St. Aug in a second, but we did stream not St. Aug, McDonald 35, but we did stream the McDonald 35 versus St. Aug game. It's on my YouTube page, JB the Sports Guy. So just click the live button wherever it's at, and then boom, you're gonna see it. I promise you. All right, guys. John Curtis. Curtis went to California, and my goodness. I mean, I didn't know much about this team. I thought it'd be a closer game, but geez, were you surprised by the margin of victory at all, George Peppers?
I mean, again, not knowing much about who was it, Cathedral, California. I think that was the team they played.
Yeah,
I think that's who they played. I don't know anything about them, and none of us,
of course,
when we
Francis
picked the game,
Silas.
you know,
Hmm.
this isn't De La Salle or this isn't one of the Made or Die or any of those teams. They're not at that level. I guess California. I don't know the depth of how good teams are, and I don't know much. The fact that they dropped 55 points on the road in that game, what does that say? Maybe the old John Curtis is starting to awaken. Maybe it's the old Patriots of put the fear in people. Um, Wow, miracles do happen. I hear you.
Oh, don't do he
Uh,
knocked that man.
I'm
He
doing
knocked
that.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. But no, VK, we look, and when we recap these games, y'all, it's not to overreact over 1 week. It's a 10-week season plus the playoffs, so we're not going to do all that. But there are signs from John Curtis, VK, that they got a little bit of swagger back, at least offensively. Dropping the double nickel on that team in their building after flying out there, VK, I think Curtis is showing signs that they might be a problem in the Catholic League later this year.
I can agree with that. I can agree. But I would. One side, I was more surprised at the dominance, but I wasn't surprised they put up that much points. the fact that I think the school they played out of California is not one of them top big time California
But they
teams.
said they were. They said
No,
they were.
I'm this is what I'm saying. I'm
You
just
stating
saying.
your opinion about it.
This is my opinion. Okay.
Okay.
I studied a good bit about a lot of those California schools, besides the good ones and the bad ones and all that stuff. That team, I think maybe the last maybe 4 or 5 years has been becoming more of a power than anything else. Because a lot of those big timers, like you hear about, like the De La Salles and all that, they're probably still good. The Cal Polys, they're probably still good. But I don't know, like you know how some of them years when you have those traditional powers have one of those kind of down years that they're not as dominant as they used to. That's what that school is. They stepped in to one of those spots, and they are a good program. What I've read, but at the same time, if they're not for them not really presenting, they presented some of a challenge early, but when Curtis solved it quick, that's like wow. This is the most lopsided victory Curtis has ever had against an out-of-state team. The most lopsided they ever had. They have had some wins against teams in Mississippi big. They had a win against a team out of Alabama pretty big, but in the 30s, maybe 40s. But 55. That says a lot. But that team out of Cali, but we'll see what happens in the rest of the season. That if this team is really that good, if they're that good at the program that they're talking, okay, cool. I get it. But I give a lot of credit to JT Curtis and Curtis for going out there and handling business and have a business mind to go take care of it, handle business and everything else. And they were very laser focused. You can tell by the pictures and video when they went to the airport and everything, not too much joking and stuff. They came there to take care of business.
Wearing suits.
Mostly wearing their Curtis suits and stuff and everything and all that. They took care of business. And after that, I love the videos right after that. They went to Disneyland and all, they went and had fun after that. They made it a whole weekend trip. And that is really, really cool. That's what a lot of times you do with teams when you go out of state. You kind of make it a weekend. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is, and I think was it? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Labor Day. Labor weekend already passed. But still, regardless of the fact, they made it a time for the team and everything else. So, but that's a huge statement for John Curtis. And I think, yeah, they're gonna be a problem in the Cali League this season.
TC, sit tight. We're gonna talk about the Railroad Classic later on. Just sit tight with me, all right, TC. Um, Last Cali League team I want to talk about. We saw them on Saturday night. St. Augustine. St. Augustine 56-6 over McDonough 35. If people aren't sure about St. Augustine yet, then go to the YouTube page of JB the Sports Guy, watch that game. But very, very impressed with St. Augustine. I was um overall the whole game. Offensively, defensively, I was very, very impressed. We will see St. Aug again in next week when they host Legacy from Texas, Spring, Texas, right outside of Houston. Um, and we're gonna get a good look at St. Aug against some good competition. Not saying 35 is it, but we're gonna see what St. Augustine's really made of come week 3 against Legacy, and we get to broadcast that game also. But guys, before we go to commercial, your thoughts about St. Augustine and their win over McDonough 35. Start with the alum VK.
Well, it wasn't really a surprise of the result and everything because of the fact that McDonough 35 had to bring in brand new starters for both sides of the ball. But for Frank Daggs and his team, and I can say the good thing about it, they bounced back early. They bounced back after that first score, St. Aug's on their first drive of the game. For them to make some big plays and for them to get down the field to it was down 14 number for them to go down there to cut the lead in half, just about in half. I mean, that was huge, and that's confidence for them. And it showed a good bit that they still have talent. 35 still has nice talent, good talent. That's going to get better with experience week by week by week. So that's a team that's going to it's going to get better down the line. And even Robert Valdez said it himself that 35 gave them a little trouble early. The biggest thing, the scary part about St. Augustine is this: they are resilient. They're a resilient bunch. And what we seen a couple times the first couple weeks from the scrimmage to the Jamboree to this first game, when they maybe give up a touchdown or give up a big play, they put that behind them. They put it behind them and they answer the bell. And that's how good St. Aug is. We'll see how they do this week against East St. John on a Saturday night. But at the same time, they just gotta they gotta stay consistent, put the pressure to the fire and keep pushing it. That's how it goes. Nick, I'm not here to bash your alma mater, brother. You know, it's all good. But I am impressed of what St. Aug did, but they took care of business. They did what they're supposed to do. They took care of business. St. John, they just gotta take care of business, stay focused, don't make too many mistakes. Legacy is the game that this is we're gonna really truly see how good this St. Aug team is. And this will be right before the district battle against Warren Easton. So I'll tell you one thing, man. Just 1 week at a time. All go get through East St. John, but next week get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready.
GP.
And we'll be there for that game against Legacy. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be fun stuff. But as far as my impressions of what we saw in the pregame, I was thinking of ways to try to, and why I focused on the rivalry aspect because I thought the game to me was on paper anticlimactic. I thought it was a game that St. Aug, if it was played correctly, as far as talent and gaps and everything, that the Purple Knights were going to handle their business. So in the pregame, I was mostly drumming on the rivalry and the importance of the fact that this was our first time doing this right. Well, VK's not his first time, as he aptly corrected me, made me look bad. I'm playing when I say that. When I was bringing up the rivalry of the Seventh Ward, but look, McDonald 35. For all of you say, "Oh, they're not going to be any good this year." Hold on, y'all calm down. Again, it's week one. They're going to be fine. They do play at the car. I think
Next,
2 weeks from
no,
now.
next
I
week.
think.
No, next week. You're right.
No, it ain't
Yeah,
because
you
Carr
are
gets
right.
American
Next week. You
Heritage
are right.
Friday. So they play next week. They're going to probably lose that game, at least on paper. You think they will. But St. Augustine, I told you
What's
this
up, Ty
VK
Dominique?
after the game when we left.
No, I'm
What's
telling
that?
Ty Dominique what's up.
Oh, okay. Acknowledgments. I got you. But no, VK, I told you this after the game. I said the Purple Knights, for all the talk about in the car, the district's theirs, St. Aug, especially St. Augustine, might have an answer for them people when they play. Because what I saw was conviction from Vashawn Coulon. He has really grown from last year to this year. He's always had a good arm, but his accuracy, his pinpoint accuracy the other night, he was 18 of 20. That's that's not crazy. That's outstanding. That's a maturation that you want to see from your starting quarterback. And he's a senior this year, correct,
Yes.
gentlemen? Okay. All right. So now this Purple Knights team going forward, yeah, they have East St. John this week, and St. James went to East St. John and got them last week, right? You would think the Purple Knights do the same thing, beat them at least. And for Brandon Brown, that's a program that has really fallen on the wayside, East St. John. But and if St. August that team, this week is the week to go up there and do what you got to do, handle your business, leave no doubt. Don't fool around and leave teams that are struggling in a game. Handle your business. But what they did, McDonald 35, was absolute craziness. I'm not surprised that they won easy. 50 points, yeah, a little bit. But the fact that they won easy, I'm not surprised at all, JB. But the fact that we got a chance to call this game was in and of itself. And you know, look, legacy is going to be a test in 2 weeks' time for St. Augustine because Legacy is one of the really good teams out of Texas. Texas has a lot of good football teams, but they're still not Louisiana, y'all. I don't care what they say. Louisiana's still top dog. We still got the heavyweights here in this state, but that's going to be one acid test for the Purple Knights that week. next
All
week.
right, Nate Nola 504. He thinks the O line is too small for Carr, and he also believes Warren Easton beats St. Aug
Mm.
in week 4.
That's
Okay. And that's another game we're calling. Warren Easton and St. Augustine. That's another game we're calling. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. And when we return, we'll talk about some other games in week 1. What was a more surprising loss that happened in this state, in the Lafayette area? Man, something was going on over there, man. Some voodoo was cooking. We'll be right back here on the Hash It Out Show. Are you in need of a new windshield? Leo Autoglass can help. For 20 years, Leo Autoglass have been servicing the New Orleans area with windshield replacement and auto glass repair. Give them a call today, 504 301 8353.
Hey y'all, this is Jen Hale from Fox Sports. You're watching the Hash It Out Show with JB the Sports Guy, VK Jones, and George Peppis.
Did you experience storm damage from Hurricane Francine? Barretto Home Solutions can help. You can give them a call at 504 940 7552.
At Bayou AV Security, we are your one-stop shop for all your needs, whether it's enhancing your home entertainment system, securing your property, ensuring a seamless internet connection, or illuminating your outdoor spaces. We've got you covered. Bayou AV Security, where technology meets reliability. Call us today to experience the Bayou difference.
And welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB, the Sports Guy, with VK Jones and George Peppis. Yes, the Hash It Out Show games of the week on Thursday. Psych. On Friday, the Hash It Out Show Friday night game of the week. We are in Edgar, Louisiana, as West St. John will be hosting the St. James Wildcats. Pre-game starts at 6:45. Game time at 7. Then Saturday night, the Saturday night game. Oh yeah, the Hash It Out Show Saturday night game of the week. A rematch of a game we did last year. Warren Easton hosting John F. Kennedy, and pregame at 6:45. Game time is at 7 o'clock, so make sure you all tune in. All right, guys. So CPJ he comes on and says Easton not beating St. Aug. And okay, we got some competitive banter back and forth between these two. So we're gonna let them go ahead. But let's move on. George Peppis, I'm gonna ask you, what was the more surprising loss? Was it St. Thomas More losing to Karen Crow? Was it Acadiana losing to Ruston? Or was it Southside losing to Notre Dame? It's all in Lafayette. Which one, George? Which one to you was more surprising? The more surprising loss?
As far as outright losing, I would say not Acadiana, because I know I picked them. I took a chance, but that was a nip and tuck game. And Ruston, at least on paper, with a new quarterback, I didn't think they would do that. 49-3. That the margin of victory is a surprise. St. Thomas More losing to Karen Crow, I think, is of the three, was the one I thought is the most surprising. For Notre Dame and Southside, listen, we could say what we want about Southside. Maybe this was their breakthrough, but Lewis Cook reminded everybody, boys, I'm still coaching. I'm still here. So he kind of had to send a message to them cats at Southside and said, look, y'all think y'all running something? Hold on. Pedigree about to get it. But St. Thomas More losing to Karen Crow VK, to me, is the surprising loss, because I don't know if any of us thought they would lose that game at home to Karen Crow. And look, Karen Crow's a good program, good football team, but I don't think any of us saw STM losing that game at home. That's a tough place to win up there at STM. And that theme song that Jared likes so much. I mean, whatever it is they play, that but no, BK, of the three, I would go with that, with STM losing to Karen Crow.
George, I gotta agree with you. I gotta agree with you. STM losing to Karen Crow was a huge surprise right there. STM, you don't usually lose too many at home. They lose very few at home, and for them to lose like that, I mean, wow, you know what I'm saying? And but then you look at Karen Crow. Karen Crow, like they might be for
Solid.
real this year, man. I'm listening to a couple of shows on Friday night, and all I'm hearing, and especially listening to Jordan Taylor as well. They said Karen Crow looked like they might be back this year. They got like their offensive line has they're combining like 1,300 pounds on the line. You know what I'm saying?
They
And they
well
are
fed.
pushing people around just like they did in 2020.
Hmm.
And Jordan Babineau is a factor, but then on top of that, the way that this team is really coming together, we'll see what happens in week 2
Jordan
with Karen
Babineau.
Crow.
Who's
Huh?
Jordan Babineau? You
Wait,
said
who'd you
Jordan
say?
Babineau. Who's that?
Oh, I think he's talking about the quarterback
Quarterback.
situation. I don't
I'm
know
talking
if
about
that's
Chance
Karen Crow.
Babineau.
Chance Babineau. Thank you.
Chance
Thank you.
Babineau.
Thank you. Yeah, see, I'm not fussing. I'm just trying to make sure you correct me. So thank you. Chance Babineau.
Yeah, that's good.
Chaz Babineau is a big factor, and he, is a senior now. Not a quarterback, but he's still making plays. You know what I'm saying? He's still a factor, and especially how this team is coming together. We'll see what happens in week 2. But Karen Crow, I think Karen Crow, if they're good as what they are going to be a problem. But for STM losing at home, wow, I mean, something is up in the water in that field.
We talking about one of the best teams, if not the best team in Lafayette for some years now, next to probably Acadiana. And I was shocked to see that Carrico went into that stadium and win that game. It's not easy to go into that stadium and win, and that was shocking to me. I did not see that happening. And my opinion was I think Chance Babineau at quarterback would have gave him a better shot to win. But Chance Babineau is playing wide receiver and defensive back. And it looks like things are working with the sophomore quarterback and Chance being moved to wide receiver and defensive back. So let us pump the brakes. We gave our opinions. We thought Chance would be the quarterback still. But hey, let's pump the brakes. New head coach probably saw something now. Maybe it's working into fruition now for his team. So, we'll do that. But that was shocking. No, Southside losing to Notre Dame was a little shocking to me, but it's the same offense. So whatever. Rustin going to Kenyatta win. Yeah, that it didn't shock me. Maybe the margin of victory shocked me a little bit. That's it. But Cameron Crow going to STM and getting that win, that shocked me. Now we gonna see what happens with Cameron Crow and LCA this week. Now we gonna see what's gonna happen with that. If Cameron Crow beats LCA now, hey man, now I'm gonna be like, okay, let's really talk about Cameron Crow. All right, let's move on. A game that happened in Monroe, Louisiana. Neville and Evangel. Neville wins 33-32. VK, is this game more telling about Neville or more telling about Evangel?
I think this game really, to be honest, told about both. How good both teams are, especially Evangel. Evangel, very, very resilient. These guys, and they just really stepped in. They stayed in it all the way to the end. They even had the lead
Had to lead
and everything.
14-0.
Yep, they had the lead in the game. Great start. They just got to learn how to finish the ball game and everything. And for them, Evangel they're going to be a factor. They're definitely going to be a factor, especially how they really played that ball game all the way to the end on the road. For Neville, they showed how good they are. They showed that they are the team, especially for them to bounce back the way they did. And I think that win gave them a lot of confidence, feeling out they had to learn a lesson after last year losing to Central in the semifinals. And they felt like the heartbreak has got to go away. And they wanted to right that wrong. So, I think it was more of a both sides affair for both of these teams, which both of them are going to be a factor. going forward into Division One select and non-select.
George Peppers, same question for you.
More. Who's the loss? Who's the more? Who do we learn more about? That's easy.
Yes, that's what.
Evangel, and why? Because the question: what did we have last week? What was our concern defensively? We knew what Peyton Houston could bring into that offense, and he is that dynamic a quarterback. He's that dude. It was the matter of them making stops, and when they broke the gate up 14-zip on Neville, you started to think, oh, Neville, in their heads are like, damn, the last time we saw him was the Central loss at home and how that loss happened, giving up a lead late. But they had to chase that game down. Evangel's defense needs to up their game. They need to step up. This offense looks like it's going to be very dynamic, but you don't win shootouts and get to Caesar Superdome in December. You gotta play games where you're making stops. Evangel, I'm seeing you. I see you. Y'all have an offense that can do a lot of damage. Best believe they can. But your defense has to up your game. I'm calling y'all out now. Y'all gotta up your game. If your team wants designs on Division One, you gotta up your game defensively. But is it the right move for them to go to Division One with the teams that are there? Are they they're in select, right? Evangel. Okay, that's at Nakar, St. Aug, and all those heavyweights in that division. Phew. Boy, that's a lot to add. If they were in Division Two, oh boy, I would give them a major chance to make a lot of noise in D2. D1, it's a lot to ask. But you know what? That was a very gutty effort by the Eagles. But Neville showed some character coming back from a double-digit deficit. So what if it's at home? But the fact that they spotted an offense like that many points, and they were able to make the chase down, it says a lot about Neville in their respect. Now, let's see how these teams react going forward, because I think both teams can be factors inside their districts. So I don't think there's any question of that.
Aaron Wiggins, to answer your question, they were up by 14 points. Brother Martin came back, tied it up, and then Brother Martin took the lead, and that was it. 29-22. Brother
I was
Martin.
counting that game in my head when I saw that scoreline early, because I was the only Wolf that had East Ascension. If VK thought I had Notre Dame, I didn't. I had Southside. He said, "Man, Peppers, you didn't have them." I was like, "No, I didn't, and I should have." I really, at the end of the day, I was like, "Man, why didn't I do it?" Going against Louis Cook, and the one game I did get off of y'all was the Lafayette Christian one against Rumble on the picks. I did get that one off of y'all, and the other one I missed. Well, for you, Jared, because me and VK went down with that one was ED White and Holy Cross. You stole that. You stole that one from us, but it is. I mean, great, great effort by Holy Cross that night. So, I mean, a lot of
Definitely.
interesting results from week one.
We
Some
getting
things
there.
we know, some things we don't, some things
That's
we
right.
still need answers to.
That's right. Um, More telling for me was Evangel. It was Evangel. It to me it showed that they can play with the big boys now. That's what it showed to me. Now they can play with the big boys. They still don't have enough depth, which someone told me, but they have some size. And I watched a little bit of the game against Neville um, um, earlier today. I watched halftime, up to halftime, and they got some size, so that's a good sign. But they got to stay healthy, number one. But the Evangel right now, we had a feeling that this could be a year that they can make a deep playoff run, and right there playing with Neville shows me that they have the chance to do that. Um, let's go to Lake Charles right quick. Westgate versus LCCP. Which was more telling? Which team was more telling? I will go first. Lake Charles College Prep. We said it since last year when we did their playoff game against John F. Kennedy that Lake Charles College Prep is a team to look out for in Division II Select. They lost to Westgate 28-20. But I will tell you this: if Lake Charles College Prep do not commit 5 turnovers, then we may be saying a different outcome to this game. You got to kill the turnovers. That can hurt you every time. 5 turnovers, that'll do it to you. So when a team has the turnover edge, they usually win games. And that's what happened with Westgate. Not taking nothing from Westgate because they are talented, very talented. But Lake Charles College Prep still is a team to look out for. VK.
Great points about LCCP, and I definitely agree. But I'm gonna go the other way with Westgate. How resilient they were going into a hostile environment and pulling off the win. And for Coach Ryan Antoine and his squad, they are looking for answers this season. They are looking for answers to try to really not just have a very
Stay
great
healthy.
season, but to try to find their way back to the state championship. That's the biggest thing that Ryan Antoine and his squad is trying to look at, especially for those seniors this season.
They got to stay healthy.
Stay healthy and find a way. But that's the thing. It's all three. It's really both. It's really two main things: stay healthy, find a way, and they found a way. And they have been a resilient bunch for years, and they're looking to try to do it again. And this is a good start. It's a real good start for Westgate. They still got plenty of games to go on their schedule. We'll see how much they can up their game in the next couple weeks and everything. But the biggest factor for Westgate, not just the fact of wins and losses, but their health throughout the season.
Southside goes to Westgate this week. George Peppers.
What a home opener.
The more telling team in this game was the LCCP, and not because I lost that game to y'all. I was the, again, lone wolf to take a chance. But when you give an outfit like Westgate 5 extra possessions, you're asking for trouble. And a talented team like Westgate's going to take full advantage, and they did. Scoreline was still 28-20, as you mentioned, JB. If those 5 interceptions don't happen, we are talking about a different result. That's 5 extra possessions you're taking away from Westgate that ultimately won them the football. And take nothing away from Westgate. That's a good football team that's going to make a lot of noise. I'm not
Yep.
going to sit here and be the naive knucklehead that's saying anything crazy. That is a very talented football team. But when you give that outfit 5 extra possessions, especially interceptions, that's a very telltale sign that you need to make better decisions if you're the quarterback of LCCP. Got to make better decisions going forward. But this is a learning lesson for them. That's a team that's returning a lot. They're going to get better, and they're going to clean it up. And you
All right.
expect them to go forward and improve.
Definitely. All right. Now, West St. John's a team that we all have been talking about to make a deep
Mhm.
playoff run in Division 4 non-select. They play Young Audience. And out here in the New Orleans area, a lot of people are talking about Young Audience Charter School to do some big things. Young Audience Charter School went to Edgard and defeated West St. John, I believe 36-34, 34-32. It's a 2-point ball game.
Mhm.
Coach Thomas talked about being up big and then just not finishing the job. Like Nick Saban says, finish the play. This is not finishing the job, and Young Audience came back and won that game. VK, your thoughts about Young Audience?
Well, Coach Dennis Christopher and his squad, man, I mean, he's looking to really make a push in year number 3, especially year 2 for AKA Yaks to just straight up to make a push and to be a big factor in their district and everything. For them to win that game and for them to come back in a hostile environment and to show last season was not a fluke.
Yeah, they beat them last season.
Yep. In an upset. They showed last season was not a fluke getting that victory. And I talked with Deron Thomas earlier today, and he felt like that they got like our team's got to learn how to finish games. And that's the biggest thing he was disappointed in, but he feels like, hey, got to put it behind you. We got to focus on St. James. But for Coach Dennis Christopher and his squad, man, I tell you, very, very talented. And I think going forward, it's going to be some interesting tests for young audiences. Let's see if they're really for real. But right now, that's a huge shot coming from young audiences. And what their mascot is again, I'm trying to make sure.
Yaks.
Talking
The
about
Yaks.
talking
Yaks.
about
It's the Yaks.
the Yaks. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what a yak is?
No,
Yeah,
I'll tell
see,
you that.
VK got to look like I look that I had when I asked someone, what's your mascot name? Yaks. I said, y'all school initials? No, YAKS. I said, what is that? I don't know, but we the Yaks. I went look it up. It's a buffalo. It's a
Oh
buffalo.
wow. I thought they were the Wildcats or something, but they're
No,
Yaks.
the Young Audience Charter School Yaks. It's a buffalo.
Wow.
I was like, I never heard of a yak a day in my life, but okay, I know what it is now. Go ahead, GP.
VK and I had a spirited discussion on the way out of Gormley about this game, and I firmly believe West St. John is the focus on this game. Why? We thought going in that this year had potential to be big, and it still can be. Look,
Yes, it
again,
can.
it's just week one. But as y'all mentioned, they were up pretty good. They were in a control of that game, and they couldn't finish. That tells me this team has not matured from last year to this year, from one game, one season, and one game. They got to
Hold
figure out.
on. We're not gonna say they're not
Wait,
mature
I'm
yet.
not.
Hold on, but
No,
let's just
not.
say they
I'm
don't know
not
how to
finished.
finish yet.
I'm not finished. Okay. What I was saying is that they got to figure out how to close ball games out, and they got to use some mental toughness late to figure out how to close games out. This young audience's team, don't sleep on them. They're good. They first year varsity program last year, their very first game, they beat West St. John.
Sure
They
did.
backed it up. They backed it up this year. 34-32, by the way, was that final score, JB.
What
Um,
up, Coach Kareem?
and aren't they in the same district as Jefferson Rise and them people over there
All
in
of them.
Division
There was a rise.
Four? I
Haynes.
think they're in that same
Yes.
district. And Texas Charter can make some noise in that district. All they got to do is bottle this up and move forward. They're obviously not gonna start like they did against West St. John. Better starts, talented program. This is a team that could. Can they not? Can they get to the dome? No, but it's a team that could make a lot of very good progression in year two. West St. John, this is the perfect time to get the rivalry game against St. James because now you can rectify what happened last week. And look, on paper, they're the underdogs against St. James. On paper. And we're not going to pick the game and we're not going to, whatever. But this is the perfect tonic for West St. John to get their season on track. It's not that it's off track. It took a little bump in the road last week against young audiences. They can get it back this Friday if they are able to knock off the defending state runner ups, St. James, at home.
I always say when you about to play a team that lost, you got to bring an A+ game instead of an A game because that
Mm-hmm.
team is looking to come and get revenge. And for the Railroad Classic to be happening, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit. Woo! Okay, moving on.
I got a question, Jared, before you move forward. What division is young audiences
Four.
in outside of the Darren Four select?
Four,
I
I
want
think
to know. I want to say Division 3 select
sure.
because Patrick Taylor is in that district and they're Division 2.
Oh,
So I want to say Division 3 select.
They in Division 3 select. They could make a lot of noise. They could make a whole lot of noise. You know what I'm saying? Because I think this program is no joke. This week they got Cohen, and Cohen was really competitive last week.
Yes, they were.
But I tell you, the real test. We'll see what happens this week. A good test for young audiences, but the real test comes against Livingston. That is going to be an interesting game.
Speaking of West St. John, there's our guy right there on Instagram, the one and only Coach Deron Thomas. As we will be in Edgard for their game, the West St. John Rams against the St. James Wildcats, the Railroad Classic that you can see right here on JB the Sports Guy YouTube page. All right, guys. One more topic before we move on to some week 2 previews and we talk about our games of the week and everything. Coach Ben Powell defeats his old team, Haynes Academy. Coach Ben Powell, the new head coach at Country Day, and they win 28-21. Great victory for Country Day. Your thoughts, VK?
Basically, the old Metairie / Ben Powell Bowl happened. So it was a really, really good game. I gotta really give it that. It was really a good game. PJ Sprung, give him a lot of credit. Had these guys ready to play, and this game really went down to the wire. But for Country Day to come up big and win it, it's really huge for Ben Powell and the squad and the message that he's trying to send. A lot of change, a lot of change in the offense and stuff like that. They're kind of going back to the offense Joe Chango was running at Country Day, the spread type offense, the throwing the football and all that stuff. So they're kind of going back to that, which they was very, very successful with that offense. So with the weapons that he has and the athletes that he has, I'm telling you, man, Country Day potentially could be a problem this year in that district. So,
Bruh.
watch out for them.
Bruh. You ain't the only one thinking that. George Peppers.
They're in the same district as Newman and them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Newman got absolutely eviscerated last week in their ball game. So I think Country Day's got a chance to do some real damage, and that was a gut check win. A really, you know, not emphatic because 2021, but Haynes Academy, they're in good hands with Coach Sprunk. They are
Without a
absolutely
doubt.
in good hands.
No.
They are absolutely in good hands with PJ Sprunk. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. With that said, Country Day could be a real super sleeper this year in this district going forward. I don't know who they play this week off the top of my head, but you know what? Ben Powell, what this says, and this, we didn't need this game to validate, but Ben Powell's a very good football coach. We didn't need this game to validate that, but you know what? That's a little point of emphasis that he got the win against his former school. And again, Haynes is in good hands with Coach Sprunk. They'll be fine.
All right. Let's move it forward now, guys. Let's
And
talk about the games we are broadcasting on Friday and Saturday. Let's start with the Friday night game, the Railroad Classic. These games can be seen on the YouTube page of JB the Sports Guy. First one has it out show Friday night game of the week, Railroad Classic, West St. John versus St. James. I start with VK. Your thoughts about this game?
well, it's an honor and a privilege to bring this particular rivalry to our platform. Because the fact of the matter is that this rivalry has been going on for a long time. And the thing about this rivalry, it was named the Railroad Classic via the year Robert Valdez was coaching at West St. John, and he has the most wins ever in this whole classic since it's been renamed, because he's got wins at West St. John and at St. James. So that's the most amazing thing you'll ever see in a rivalry. But regardless of the fact, it is still a festive type of game and rivalry because of the two teams and the two passionate fan bases that are at least 35 minutes from each other. You know what I'm saying? 35 to 40 minutes. And, when you go down at 3126 Road, the first place you see is Edgard, and the first place you go to is West St. John.
31-27.
31. Thank you so much. 31-27.
Correction?
It's not really correction. He was just one off. Nothing
Oh,
to it.
you're just dogging it. I hear you.
I'm
But
good.
I think what we're really looking forward to is the tailgate and the food, huh, BK? At West St. John.
Well,
Their tailgate game is on point. Their food is on
well,
point
I
down
was
there.
gonna finish up in
But
saying that the fact that you
go
first
ahead.
see in 31-27, you see your
Mhm.
first West St. John, and down the road you go past that, you run right into the new St. James. Back then it was you had to go down 31-27, further down, make a turn, and go to River Road and go right to the old St. James. But that has changed over the years, and the reason why it is
VK buying the
called
chicken. VK buying the chicken.
JB
He is.
No, you're not.
No, he
I
ain't.
ain't got JB money. Sorry.
JB ain't got no money either. Go ahead.
Now, George got the money.
GP ain't got no money either. So
But I'm gonna say this. I'm also
enjoy
say
Trey?
it.
this. The reason why is the fact that this rivalry just it's before years. It's a great rivalry, great fan bases. They call it a railroad class because that train usually passes through West St. John and goes all the way to the old St. James.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that rivalry is called the Railroad Classic. These are two very good coaches. And Coach Levanta Davis in year number 4 has really established himself as the man at St. James. And then Deron Thomas making a name for himself, being the man at Edgar at West St. John. And he always would say to this day, like, I love Edgar. This is my home. Some
Mm-hmm.
people would think, nah, he went to East St. John. No, the story is this. Deron Thomas first went to West St. John,
That's right.
and he was outstanding and
Standing.
an outstanding football player. But he decided, and he felt like he wasn't getting the notoriety at the time, that he needed to go to the other side. He has family on both sides, in Edgard and in Laplace, and in Reserve. So
Mm-hmm.
he felt like I needed to go to East St. John to get the notoriety I need to get recruited. And guess where he wound up going? To the University of Miami. So there was a reason why he had to leave Edgard, but for him to come back to Edgard and feel like I am going to ultimately give back, I am going to make it right for my family and my community. I'm going for this job. And they have embraced him so much, and they had told him, you are all forgiven, brother. We will always love you. So you just gotta love it. How the story is going right now, West St. John, and what he is building for that program. I'm looking forward to being there on Friday night. We're gonna get there early enough because both fan bases is going to flood West St. John High School's campus with all kind of tailgates and all kind of shiggities and stuff.
Yes, indeed. Coach Trey, don't go nowhere because you know we got your game on Saturday night. Don't go nowhere now. Make sure you tell everybody you know that's not going to
Oh,
tune in now, all right? We broadcasting it. But go ahead, George Peppers, about the Friday night game we have.
I got you, Kenny. You gonna be there Friday night? Because we can make the payoff Friday night. Just saying, Kenny Ramadan, he could pay us
hey,
Go
off.
ahead,
Kenny,
man.
Just
and
saying.
thank you, Kenny, for mentioning the Rick Gailey and Larry DuPont. Thank you
Definitely.
so much, man. They were a big
Laurie
part of
Dupont,
that.
yeah. Honors, honors. The late great Rick Gailey, great friend of ours, and Laurie Dupont, a legend. But as far as this game Friday night, again, I mentioned it earlier. West St. John, this is the calling card for your season early on. You know, your biggest rival coming to your building, and you suffered a loss from ahead last week. How do you respond? It's to me a component of this game for West St. John. St. James is going to walk in there, and they really handled business last week at East St. John, but how do they handle the pressure of the rivalry? The crowd is going to be wild. It's going to be packed. The atmosphere lit. How do the Wildcats and Levante Davis? I think they're going to be fine. I think this is a good test for the Rams and the Wildcats, and I think this is going to say something about both teams going forward as we progress into the 2025 season. Both teams figure to be good. West St. John, it was a disappointing loss last week, but they're going to be okay. St. James is expected to be this good. Let's see how they back it up Friday night.
Okay. Look, you would have thought by now that I would have been to a West St. John football game in my life. This is my first one, and I'm excited. I've been to the campus. I've been inside the basketball gym. Never
But
been to a
never in a
West St.
football game?
Never been.
Wow.
Nope. It's my first one, and I'm excited. I know y'all were there last year to call a game against Riverside. I couldn't make that one. I am here this year, baby. I'm not missing it. And you got to remember, the Railroad Classic wasn't played last year because of whatever that storm that was coming. It wasn't
Right.
played. So here we are. I think
Let's
it's
get
just
it.
it's more hype to it. It's more
Hmm.
excitement. And West St. John, they're angry. They felt like they should have won that game last week against young audience, and they got something to prove. I can't wait for the Railroad Classic. I'm excited. I think we got two teams filled with athletes that are going to show off this Friday night. Now, moving forward, the Hash It Out Show Saturday night game of the week, and we did this game last year, and it's a rematch. It's Warren Easton taking on John F. Kennedy. And you know what? The game last year was at Pan American Stadium. And you know what? The game was supposed to be at Pan American Stadium. And you know what? The game has been moved to Tad Gormley. Are we talking a lot of people showing up for this game? I hope so. But I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say this. There's a lot of trash talking last year leading up to that game. Amari Darrensburg was the quarterback, and you know Amari Darrensburg doesn't say a word. When they won that game, he was talking to Warren Easton. He was talking, and I was sitting there like this with big eyes because I never even heard him talk. You know he's quiet. Well, man, guess what? The talking has commenced already. They are talking again, and you got to realize people were still doubting John F. Kennedy last year until they beat Warren Easton. Then people finally took them as a for real football school. They not saying they are a football school, but they took him seriously. Let me say that. Took him seriously. Easton wants their lick back. They want revenge. They want to show the world, hey, they got us last year, but it ain't gonna happen again. John F. Kennedy, you know what they saying? We here to stay. Y'all were the top dogs of the public schools in Orleans Parish. We got that now, and we gonna hold on to that throne. This gonna be fireworks Saturday night, VK.
Very much so. Very much so. I think both of our games is going to be foul, especially Saturday. That this is a great rematch after what happened last season. After what we seen, Easton. I mean, I'm gonna say Kennedy had an unbelievable start. Easton came back, but for Kennedy to have the wherewithal and the guts to go out and close the game, that just showed the maturity of Kennedy right then and there. And I think the talk from Darrensburg, he was just quiet. But a lot of times, I don't mind people talking after the game
I
over.
didn't mind talking either. I didn't
I'm
mind.
Yeah, I'm just saying like afterwards. I love it when people talk after the game because of the fact they stay quiet, they let the game do the talking, and then when they win, the emotions all come out. Because of the fact of the matter is, you did all that talking. What you got to say now? So that was a huge statement from Kennedy last season. This year, Warren Easton is kind of loaded to bear, especially returning a lot of experienced players.
Jalen Chapman
Especially
back from injury too.
Jalen Chapman is back. The backfield, the awesome backfield of the two good backs that Easton had that's returning this year. Very talented. They're going to be ready to go, and for this game to be at a bigger venue, we expect that crowd to be a pretty big crowd. Is it going to be big as Car Easton? I don't know, but we will see because last year's crowd was pretty big in itself for a Friday night over at Pan Am. So, Easton must be seeing something and talk with people at City Park, and it felt like, hey, can we put it at a bigger venue on a Saturday night since we're the older game in town? So I'm telling you, man, I think it's going to be a really good crowd. I will be very happy if this is a big crowd, if the crowd is big as last year and it's kind of overflowing. And the biggest crowd, I'm gonna say this, the biggest crowd I've ever seen for Orleans Parish School outside of the Cali League and Tag Gormley was Easton Carr. And I did that ball game, and that was the game when your cousin AJ Samuel threw that pass near the end zone to try to win the ball game. They had over 12,000 in that stadium that night. The biggest crowd I've ever seen outside of a Cali League team in Tag Gormley. I hope we see that or close to it on Saturday with Kennedy and Easton.
GP. Wait, before you go, GP, before you go. If all y'all are going to that game, bring your headphones and tune into JB the Sports Guy YouTube page and listen to the play-by-play while you watch it. Go ahead, GP.
I was about to say that too. And we had a good number last week with 35 and all. I mean, for that, I think what was it, VK? About 1,400, 1,500, I think.
For all, no, we got more than that.
Way more than that.
Way more.
Oh, way more. Okay.
Yeah.
When we left the stadium, it was like 1,400 or something. When we left, I don't know. I didn't see the final number, but as far as the game Saturday, VK, I'm surprised you didn't mention one player that I think is going to be a very big X factor for this game. Carl Reed, the quarterback for Warren Easton. Last year, as I think he's a freshman, he's a sophomore now. He acclimated himself well.
He's a senior.
Senior, but he was a first-time starter last year. He was a first-time starter last year, junior to senior. Okay, well, except for one little when Kennedy took over that game last year. They had one spurt where Kennedy scored, I think, 3 times in a row. One off their kick return, one off their defense, and one offensively. And then Easton was chasing the rest of the way. And then Reed got hurt in that game, if I'm not mistaken, late in that game. So he's healthy. This is a team on a mission. Warren Easton, Jerry Phillips, they're coming for revenge. And these are the kind of games I like. Because I can guarantee you, Linares South Page is going to have his boys ready to go. Yeah, it's an offense in transition, but you better believe This defense is coming to roll on Saturday, and we are excited to be a part of this matchup. Can't wait to be there, and we I expect a very spirited affair between both teams. Who wins it, we won't tell you that. We don't pick these games. I mean, everybody else will, not us. But we're just excited to be a part of it, of this game that has is good. It's two festive atmospheres we're going to be at this week. Edgar Friday at Guard, uh, and New Orleans Saturday at City Park. And I'm glad they moved it to Tan Quabley. I am. I'm in the majority here. I think we're in the majority that's saying that. I think you effort to get a bigger populace out there. It's two quality football teams, JB, and to be a part of this game is going to be very special.
Definitely. Go
Can
ahead,
I get
VK.
the numbers right quick for last week's games? I want to thank
Go
all y'all
ahead.
for your support. For the Bonneville Sophie B. Wright game, we had 1,100 views for that ball game alone. We had original when the game was over, it was about 500, but now 1,100. Thank you so much for that. The St. Augustine game, we were at 1,400 when we left Saturday. Right now, 3,100 views.
Hmm.
So thank y'all so much. Let's flood it out Friday and Saturday. Let's make the numbers bigger this weekend on Friday and Saturday for these big time broadcasts.
Still growing, ladies and gentlemen. Still growing. Still growing. All right. Before we get out of here, I got one question for you all. What is another game you guys are looking at that's intriguing you for week 2? George Peppers, you can go first.
I mean, it's stating the obvious, but Car American Heritage. Because of the fact it's an out of state team that suffered that played with fire. Because remember, they played the first game against who was it? One of the in-state teams. We're down 28, and they rallied back to win. And they've been playing it close to the vest, right? And they finally got caught last week. How they respond against a team that maybe arguably is the best team in the state, regardless of class or division, is going to be a really good test for American Heritage. And for Carr, it's a team that's going to be bigger than them. Are they going to be faster than them? We don't know. I mean, they've got speed on that side too, American Heritage. But if John Johnson and company can get a more rhythmic offense, because Shaw's defense really showed them something last Friday. They really frustrated them. I think for me, VK Carr American Heritage, because of the superlatives I mentioned and the storylines that are involved in this game, is my intrigue matchup.
My intrigue matchup, and I'm gonna go with kind of a split in between with one of them. One of them it would be I'm gonna definitely say Karen Crow and LCA. I'm really curious to see what happens. LCA, they're continuing to prove me wrong. They're continuing to prove me wrong despite of everything that went on at the school, and they're continuing to thrive. And I think they host this week again. They host this week, Karen Crow again. It's something that they have a kind of a not kind of a favorable schedule a little bit because of the fact they got a lot of big games at home this season. But for them, this is a big game. Karen Crow, this is man, this is another big test. If Karen Crow can win that ball game, 2-0 on the road, scary, scary team. So I like to see what happens in that game. The other one is the Railroad Classic. This has been most of these games have been one-sided. For the first time in a long time, potentially, we could have a game that goes down to the wire because of how good both of these teams are this season and the talent that both of these teams have. I said it myself looking at both teams last year going into this season for St. James being that young, getting to the dome, for West St. John being in a position to being this close to getting to the state quarterfinals with that young team. And they return all these people. The future is bright for both of these schools. And when I seen that, I said, and a lot of folks from that St. James side keep on saying, it's going to be all us. I don't know. West St. John looking for their first win against St. James since 2015. So they're looking and they're hungry. I really looking forward to this one. I think this is intriguing because of the fact that for the first time in a long time, we might have a ball game.
Okay. I hear you, my brother. I hear you. I'm looking up something right quick because I want to make sure I'm seeing this right. Okay, it's not yet. All right. The game for me, I'm going out to Southwest Louisiana. It's Lake Charles College Prep against Barb. Lake Charles College Prep wins this game. They have a chance to sit there and say we are the best team in the Lake Charles area. You do have Sam Houston right outside of Lake Charles and Moss Bluff. But Lake Charles College Prep, they beat Barb. They can sit there and say they are the best team in Lake Charles. And this is what I'm looking forward to see if this can happen. They're playing a bigger team in Barb. But the more talented and athletic team is Lake Charles College Prep. If they get this win, this is huge for Lake Charles College Prep. Period. I don't know if they ever beat Barb ever. I don't know. But they have a great shot in doing so. I think that game on Thursday. Let me check right quick. I got it up here already.
Oh, the game on
Yep,
Thursday.
it's Thursday night. Lake Charles College Prep at Barb. Yes, they have a shot to make history in beating the Barb Bucks.
There's something to watch. Something to watch on Thursday night. Goodness, wow.
So just keep an eye open on that. Now, before we go, I'm sure everybody wants to know who won the week 1 picks.
I got the numbers for you, JB.
Oh yeah, I was about to say I'm gonna let you do it, brother. So George Peppers, let everybody know who won week 1.
It wasn't the man that made proclamations all summer. So he was making, well, it's not for week 1. I'm going to put all my eggs in that basket. It didn't happen. Now he's closing up. You see, he's getting out off picture now. Poor baby.
Don't run, bro.
But,
don't run.
Yeah, don't
you
run.
Talk all that nonsense you was talking.
Exactly.
And you don't win. And you don't want to show your face.
You know what he's saying now? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him Friday. Yeah. Yeah. What are you, purple chicken? All right. We're just being messy.
Oh, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that, man.
I'm talking noise now.
Don't do this.
But I had the worst record of us of the three of us. I finished third with 16 wins and 9 losses. VK finished second at 17-8, and JB 21-4. A couple of those swing games that were back and forth went your way, and you won the picks for week 1. But it is a marathon, not a sprint. That's what we told you. Summer. So you can bounce back. I can bounce back. I took some from ahead. East Ascension. They lost from ahead. And who else did I lose with? Edie White lost from ahead, but that wasn't a chance to take because they were the favorites perceived in that game. I should have took Notre Dame if I wanted to. When we picked the game last week, I really should have went with Notre Dame because I was like thinking. I'm like, I should go, but I didn't know how much they had or whatever. Southside bringing a lot of people back. Louis Cook reminded everybody what's up. But 21-4, JB, congratulations. Back it up this week, sir. And I'm guessing that game with Barb and LCCP might be on that menu tomorrow night when we go to picking. I'm pretty sure it will be. I'm pretty sure it will be. And VK, when will JB put gimme games on that pick sheets to fatten our record? The games are like, really.
I think that's coming. That's coming this week. That's coming this week.
Think? I don't know. I don't think there's gimme yet.
He always find at least one. He always find
one.
At least one
but
or two.
No, the thing is, we do these picks, because we extol what we know, and it's all fun and games, But this year, then we might have to get a championship belt for the Hash It Out Show picks champion. 2 of them. One for the regular season and one for the playoffs. We could do that.
You know how much those belts cost? No.
3, like $400. Like, well, VK got that money. He got it. If he can't get it, he gonna buy the ticket Friday night.
Nah,
Because
you gonna
he
buy the
putting that on me. It ain't happening.
no. You got it. I ain't got it.
Ooh.
I'm trying to look for
All
work
right.
now. You ain't
Oh
lying. I
well.
don't have no job like you, dude.
Okay.
I'm on super budget. I'm like a retiree. I'm on budget.
Bills,
That's
sir.
just what it
Bills.
is. Bills too, but you
Oh,
got
yeah.
enough to pay for bills.
You act like I don't pay nothing. My goodness.
I'm not
BK.
saying you don't.
BK throwing a domestic fight here, JB. Look at that.
I'm not saying you don't, my brother. I'm just
I know, my
saying
brother.
you
I
got.
hear you.
Yeah, I don't have budget like you. I wish I had a budget like you.
But
You know how
JB,
retirees is. Shoot, retirees have limited budget.
retirees.
It's not a
If I tell you what,
retiree.
I tell you what, if I'd have hit the Powerball Saturday, you would have seen retiree.
Oh, I know
Just
you would
saying.
have. I
Just
know you would
saying.
have.
Just saying. But JB, take us home though.
All right. So before we go, VK, any chance of a special guest tomorrow night?
Actually, no, but we will have him down the line. I
Okay.
talked with him. I was hoping to have it. He was pretty much stuck with a lot of things this week. Not surprising because of the fact that the big game Saturday night between the Green Wave and the Blue Devils. So
Mm-hmm.
I tried, but he did but the officials did say John Sumrall is coming down the line and it will be set up on a Wednesday night. We will let you
Well, that's great.
John Sumrall, head coach for Tulane. All right.
Yep.
Well, ladies and gents, we will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We will be back tomorrow, and we will have the picks for week 2 as well. And we'll talk some more football around the state before we get to those picks. Last words, GP.
Great night, as always. It is now we are in football season, digging in, making things happen. And week 2, we are so excited about what we're going to bring you. West St. John, St. James, Friday night, Kennedy Easton, Saturday night. Stay tuned. JB, the sports guy. That's the page you want to go to and flood it. Flood it. Like, make it work. I mean, we had impressive numbers on Saturday, good numbers on Thursday. You know, for a Thursday night game to draw over 1,000 people, that's really good. For programs that haven't been at the elite level and to draw over 1,100, almost 1,200 people, that's a good number. But again, it's what we do, and we're proud of what we do, and we stand on what we do. And, this is just another start of a great football weekend. And you mentioned Tulane. Boy, what a character win they had over South Alabama the other night. Um, and they play Duke. If they win that, then they get Ole Miss playoffs. Playoffs. Just saying. I mean, the doors are wide open. So, and we'll see. But tomorrow night, stay tuned. We will be back for you for week 2 of the picks. I'm going to look to bounce back because I'm the one in the basement right now. I got VK spot right now, the cellar. So I got to be able to get the key and break out. So I'm gonna start my shake back tomorrow night, VK, and both of us, we don't have to catch JB in week 2. We just got to knock it off game by game, game by game. And it's a 10-week season, and we just got to be in the mix at the end. That's all.
VK.
Man, good show tonight and everything, man. I had to face up, but it's all to the good. I ain't saying
Oh
nothing.
wait. Hmm.
We just gonna carry and do what we gotta do. I ain't gonna put my lip on it, but at the same time, look, it's week for week. It's a marathon, right, Mr. Boyd? So you're right. We'll see
Wait.
what happens coming up with
I'm,
week 2. But we'd
I'm
like
not.
thank y'all. Go ahead. But
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt because I want, and I would be
go ahead.
remiss. I sent this to you guys in my chat, in our chat this morning. I wanted to pay homage to one of my dear, dear friends. She lost her battle, courageous battle, 2 years plus with ovarian cancer. She passed away this morning, and it's been a very tough day for all of us at the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. We lost a dear, dear friend at the age of 66 to ovarian cancer, and I just want to pay homage to her. And also, on the sports front, we lost a legend a few days ago. Well, yesterday, Bill Baumgartner,
Yeah.
one of the greatest writers, and his recruiting columns were on point, better than anything you see now on TV. I'll say it. Baumgartner's recruiting was unbiased, equal, and fair, and we're gonna miss that.
Appreciate you saying that. I was going to mention it myself, but at the same time, thank y'all so much for all the support and everything. Flood everything out this week, man. We want some huge numbers this week. We want to do better on week 2 than week 1, but week 1 we did great. Thank y'all so much. The eyes are going to be in Louisiana, and the eyes are also going to be in Florida on Saturday. Because I'm telling you now, woo, if South Florida pulls this off, boy, look, the American Conference is on notice if they pull this off Saturday. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because you talking about Tulane, that increases the chance of the American Conference getting into the playoff. So the eyes going to be in Louisiana and Florida this Saturday. But we appreciate y'all supporting us. Ben Bar Gardner, thank you for everything you have done and for preparing us and giving me the advice I needed. Rest in peace.
Definitely. All right, we're back tomorrow, 7 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're here with us. For VK Jones, George Peppers, I am JB, the sports guy. Back tomorrow, 7 o'clock. And then Friday, 6:45 pregame, the Hassel House Show, Friday night game of the week. West St. John taking on St. James. And then Saturday, the Hassel House Show, Saturday night game of the week. Warren Easton taking on John F. Kennedy. Yes, pregame at 6:45, game at 7 o'clock. And it can be seen right here on the YouTube page of JB, the sports guy. Y'all take care. JFK Martial Arts offers a wide variety of martial arts programs for kids, teens, and adults as they empower lives through martial arts. Please give them a call at 985-266-0664 and don't forget to ask about their 1 week free special. Bucks No Wiz was the place to go as a kid growing up to get snowballs. As an adult now, it is still the place to go. When you want some of the best snowballs and some of the best customer service, Bucks No Wiz is the place. Now, excuse me, let me get back to my half grape, half pink lemonade snowball. Bucks No Wiz, located at 1508 Barataria Boulevard in Marrero, Louisiana. Hey parents and coaches, want your young athlete to go far on and off the field? Kumon of Gretna is the place for you. Whether it's reading plays or calculating scores, early literacy and math skills teach focus, discipline, and decision making. Give your student athlete the edge. Start early, start smart at Kumon of Gretna.
If you're looking for the best pizza in Metro New Orleans, then you're in the right place. Moe's Pizza has a great selection of Italian food that can satisfy your appetite, and they can also cater to your needs in any event. Give them a call at 504-341-9650 or log on to www.moespizzanola.com, located at 1112 Avenue H in West Wego, Louisiana. Moe's Pizza, Italians do it better.
Thank you for watching the Hash It Out Show. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.